What's happening, bro?
What is going on?
Good to see you.
It's good to hear me, actually.
It's good to hear you. And you're a super early morning person, right?
I try to be. I have my days. I'm currently in a period of very, very hectic travel of my life. So I'm the kind of early morning right now, which is by force. But given the time and space, I like to be up early, like real early.
Yeah, like some of those freakish times for me that I've been up early and shown up at Soho at 8, you've always kind of been there.
Finishing my workout, yeah.
Yeah.
8 would be a late morning. I'd ordinarily be out of Soho by like 7:15, finished with. And I'm finishing my bulk, like the bulk of my day's formalities at that hour. And when that happens, dude, the day is like freedom.
Cool. Because your voice is a little
You see my
precarious
voice
right
yeah.
now. We'll get into it. So before we get into the Jordan story, tell me about yourself in Mainstreet and how that journey has been.
Yeah, my story and like the Jordan story, they're very, very different. As in, my story doesn't have a lot of strews. Growing up, I was just, I know it's a good story. Let's just put that out. I know it's a good story. I know it sells. I think it's a big part of what helps the macro of what we're building with Mainstreet today. I grew up very obsessed with what I now recognize as impact. And I'm still trying to articulate it better every day as to what kind of impact that I really enjoy. Because I'm striving to find an alignment of my like natural instinctive like joy and my daily actions. So, I have that conflict very regularly. This is what I'm doing really going to get me closer to what gives me joy in life. But now I recognize that, at least growing up, my first, maybe even like what I looked at was a more socially acceptable form of impact was business. Today I see it as, maybe I want like a Post Malone impact, maybe, I don't know. I'm trying to understand myself better. But I grew up with a very heavy like business enamel. It started with Steve Jobs, of course. I think I was like 10 years old. I asked my dad for an iPod. And he was like, who made the iPod? And I was like, no, I'm 10. I don't know who made the iPod. And he was like, there's this dude named Steve Jobs who he started Apple. And then he got fired from Apple and he started Pixar. And now he's back here and he's doing and he just made the iPod, with Apple. He's back at Apple. And in my head, I was like, Jesus, it's probably one of like 2 out of 10 companies that I would have heard of as a kid. It's Pixar and Apple. I was like, this guy is responsible for both? Like, wow.
Yeah.
Like, you can really do that much. And ever since as far back as I can remember, I've only thought in this like, almost like a business model template in my head. It would be like, if I saw someone skateboard, I'd be like, damn, I'd love to skateboard. But there's no skateboard schools here. Maybe I could, at my next vacation, buy a skateboard, find an instructor, convince him to come to India, start a skateboard school, build a skateboard empire, etc., etc. It was just this template that I built in my head. That was gap is opportunity. I think I was 11 years old when I had this idea of this skateboard empire. I also now realize I had ADHD. I still do. So growing up, as obsessed as I was, I found it so hard to focus on one thing. And it's a lot less bad right now. I've learned to work through it. But I was so harsh on myself for so many years because I couldn't like do anything. And I built several layers of fear and anxiety upon my thought process, just having no faith in myself of achieving anything. So, what I managed to really get through with Mainstreet was always like cutting corners, or at least that's how I felt. Never really believed in myself, and that's where I'm at right now. That's who I am right now.
It doesn't look like that at all, though.
Yeah, well, my skill set is like, I think my skill set lies in like branding. I know how to tell a story, but I'm also not afraid to be like vulnerable.
Yeah.
It's like that sort of situation.
Mainstreet is how many years old now?
5.
5 years old.
Who would have thought, right?
Yeah.
Because when I started, I was 18, and that makes me sad, It's like shit.
I didn't want to ask you your age because you said you got an iPod when you were 10.
I didn't
That
get the
made
iPod.
me think that I got an iPod when I was 22. So,
well, you're spot on with the math.
before we get, just tell us about Mainstreet in like 2 lines.
We saw that there was no sneaker culture in India, so we built Mainstreet.
And the last event you did, how many sneakers did you guys have on display?
About 3,000.
That was nuts.
That was
sneaker wall.
Yeah, India's largest sneaker wall. impact, right? That's what excites me. It's like there's 100 sneaker events happening right now. Nobody will compare. Nobody will compare what we did to anyone else. Despite maybe us not having the highest footfall, us doing one, everybody's doing like multiple. And that was also a choice. We've been offered so many since. We'll give you venue here, we'll give you this, we'll give you that. We'll come to the city, come to that city. It's just no. So we're going to make this something to wait for every year.
Yeah, that was a very cool event. What got you into sneakers? Was it a particular pair that got you in?
Yeah, man. So I was on Snapchat and I saw a Snapchat story of a friend of mine's shoe. Like he was sitting cross-legged. He had one leg over the other and he had put a photo of his shoe and I was like, wow, what are these shoes? And he was like, oh man, they're NMDs. And he was studying in London. And he was trying to be cool. He was like, oh, everybody here wears Yeezys, so I got these. Which I know now is bullshit, right? But I was like, damn, how much are they for? And he was like, £100. And I was like, well, can you get me a pair? So I go to my dad and I'm like, can I have a pair of shoes, please? I need a pair of shoes. It's been so long. He's like, how much are they? I was like, 10 grand. He's like, no, that's too much. I said, okay, 8 grand. He said, okay, we'll do 8. So I got 8 grand from my dad and I put 2 grand myself. Dad doesn't know about this, but yeah. And I got these shoes and this was September 2016. 31st December 2016, this dude came back to India with my shoes. And I put them on. I was like, wow, I feel like a god. I was like, I'm going to teach this country about fashion. And I went out then for New Year's Eve with some friends and I just felt so good about myself. And 2017, I spent learning about sneaker culture. So every time I was at a party and I bumped into this guy, this other friend of mine, we'd talk shoes. I learned more and more about them. And I think May 2017, I went up to one of these friends and I was like, yo, I think we should start a sneaker store. Let's buy, from these brands. Let's curate a good collection and let's educate because there's such a big gap, right? It felt like I was going down this rabbit hole of sneakers. And when I looked up, I was like, wow, there's none of it here. And that seemed like an excellent opportunity. So I dived straight in. I was trying to build 2 other businesses at the time. I was like, of course I can build another one. I am God. I can do anything. And I spent 2017 learning about shoes and curating this business model. Soon we realized that you needed money to buy the shoes and we didn't have any money. So we were like, okay, what can we do? Okay, we'll start a YouTube channel. And then we built like strategy to start this YouTube channel. I was still running a vlog at the time, my daily vlog, and I would talk about, I'm trying to build this business. And then some people would ask me, like one guy would ask me, I didn't want to look like a reseller. So there's one dude I used to sell to and I would make good money on that. And by December 4th, 2017, we launched Mainstreet TV as a YouTube channel. We didn't have money to do anything else. A couple months in, a dude DM'd us on Instagram, near me, saying, hey, I'm starting a tattoo parlor. Do you want to sell your shoes here? I was like, sell what? I was quite an opportunist, because ADHD. I had no focus. So I went down to look at the space and I was like, damn, this is cool. I was like, look, we don't have any money though. How about we tell our audience, 400 subscribers at the time. I said, how about we tell our audience to send us their shoes to sell? We'll sell them, keep a commission and give you a commission of our commission. And we'll promote your tattoo parlor. So cool. So we take the ground floor. This dude takes the loft. And we have India's first sneaker resale store in 2018.
Where was this?
Koregaon Park, Pune. I was born and brought up in Pune. So, and free of cost. Convinced him to do the capital expense for the interiors. It was whack. But again, didn't know how to run that. Didn't know basic idea. I should have just opened the store every day, focused on getting more supply and selling. Didn't know any of that. 6 months in, shut that down, moved to Bombay, thinking I have to learn. Spent the next year and a half running a little media company in Bombay, trying to pay rent. Because I left Pune, say I come from decent privilege. Parents were buying me 10,000 rupee shoes. They gave me everything I needed. It was great. And more than the money, it's just emotional privilege, right? I grew up very comfortable childhood, unconditional love, and I recognize how valuable all of those things are. And to top all of that, so much support. So I left Pune with a very firm goal of not taking any money from home. Not to be like fuck you or anything, but I'll never ever struggle if I don't choose. So I spent the next about 18 months super broke. Literally, there were times I couldn't take an Uber. Very privileged problems, but there was times I've gone to dinner with a girl and looked at the menu and been like, shit, And like, oh my god, I ordered only one dish for myself. And then I was like, I hope this girl splits the bill because I can't even offer because I had like 2,200 rupees in my bank account. And luckily the girl covered the bill that night. It was good. But yeah, so I did that struggle time, and I did this. Any opportunity I had to have a cup of coffee with anybody, I would jump. And I think that's where the ADHD helped. I was always looking around. And I got into the craziest rooms. I met the most wonderful people, and I learned so much. And by end of 2019, so mid 2018, I moved in. By end of 2019, I had my two partners from Mainstreet exit. I shut down everything else I was building, and I was learning to focus and work through my issues. And as we started stabilizing things, and we were prepping for the launch of our Bombay store, which again, we just put everything into. I sucked it up. I borrowed some money from my dad for the deposit. And then the day of the launch, which was supposed to be my 21st birthday, was the first day of the national lockdown. So then the Bombay store was indefinitely pushed, and it's just been an interesting time.
The same store, right? That's in Bombay. And how old is the Delhi store?
Delhi store was just a year old.
That's a very cool store.
Thank you. Yeah, that was a dream, man.
All right, getting into Jordans. I was expecting you to say Jordans were my first pair of sneakers, which clearly did not happen. NMDs.
NMDs, yeah.
Let's talk about the Jordan phenomena, because I think for me, and I think it'll be interesting to see your view as someone who sells sneakers as well. The number of Jordans I've seen, or I've seen regular people recognize that as a sneaker. I was at a wedding day before, and the bride and groom both were in Jordans.
Oh, guys.
And how have we come to this point of this phenomena in India? That
actually, I gave a TED talk on this, and I have an interesting perspective, and I think it's fairly unique the way I look at it. The way I see it is the stars really aligned for this to happen. It was a bunch of things put together, ranging from Phil Knight. I'm sure you've read Shoe Dog, right? Phil Knight, the dude who started Nike, is a very heartfelt man, full of emotion and love and sentiment. And we're real lucky that Nike was building as a brand selling emotion. And the way I see it is, Jordan signing with Nike was just luck. It was his mother telling him it was that decision. It was Adidas management changing. So, because Adidas management was changing, it was having a bad time. Didn't end up closing that because Adidas was popping at the time, right? So we're really lucky that Michael Jordan, being the independent brand that he is, met Nike being the independent brand that it is. I feel like if Jordan signed with Reebok, who he was very compelled to, or Adidas, or Converse, that again he wanted to, we wouldn't have had I wouldn't have had my career where it is today, right? Because Jordan was that eclectic of a brand. It was like, let's say if Shah Rukh Khan met a Nike, right, we'd see something different. If Amitabh Bachchan met, like, there's certain brands that just are so powerful in themselves, and if they really meet another, it was Kanye, and just Kanye don't need Kanye would have been fine. But yeah, because Kanye did that with Nike and Adidas. Right? I don't think Michael Jordan would have.
Yeah.
That's why I think Kanye has that vision, right? So anyway, so Jordan meeting Nike, and Jordan also not caring about the shoes as much. Jordan was so obsessed with playing. And Nike was so obsessed about the story. And they looked at Jordan and said, this story is so incredible. We got to give this its own thing. And then Nike, obviously not being able to estimate demand, led to the demand-supply disparity, right? The first 4 years, they were hoping for $3 million of sales. And the first year was 126 mil. That supply could not have been accounted for. These, especially in the 80s, this sort of supply chain is a time-consuming process. But I'm assuming at some point that they were like, yo, this demand supply is a good situation, And then they saw that demand supply was so much of like intangible brand value growth that led to volumes of sales in other categories for them, that it was like, oh, we got to keep doing this. And they have been like, facilitating like government support, like drug trade. Nike supports resale. And that's just been happening for the last like 4 decades. And, that's given so many people careers.
Have you ever played basketball in Jordans once?
Yeah, the horrible shoes.
Yeah.
They're 80s technology. They're lifestyle shoes. They're not basketball shoes anymore.
How are they playing basketball in those? It
They
always
were
blows
in the
my mind.
80s. It was the 80s. The tech was only as good. Jordans are great to lift in. They're flat.
Yeah.
But they didn't know any better in the 80s. And don't be so judgy.
Are we going to talk about gym shoes?
Gym shoes.
Yeah, I've seen
You're
them.
wearing your Yeezys, man. Did you hit the gym and then this one?
I
I mean, for context, Aneesh had a very angry rant about people who work out in Yeezys. It's like, let them be, man.
Which I see a lot at the Soho gym, to be very
I
specific.
mean, to be fair, you work out at the Soho House gym, Aneesh. What do you expect?
Yeah, but it's too funny. I either see off-white Jordans or I'll see Yeezys. When it comes to purchasing Jordans, right? Again, there's no question what it's done right for the sneaker industry or just people getting into it. Again, for me, Jordan was the first pair that ever got me into it. I think in India, there's also this whole subculture of NBA and basketball that I've not seen that prevalent in Bombay, but for example, I was in Ambala for a few years and that was an NBA fanatic audience.
I think there are communities within communities everywhere. It's just very, it's concentrated and fragmented at the same time. So there are strong concentrations because of how deep this sort of culture runs. In every community, there is a sub-community that's deeply fanatic about it. But then those sub-communities are very fragmented around the country.
Yeah.
So when people would ask us, our biggest markets, I'd say, I don't look at it as Bombay, Delhi, Bangalore. It's so fragmented. Like there's some super customers in every locale. And, that's our market.
Break down the Jordan 1 silhouettes for me. And why does mids get so much hate?
Jordan 1s, lows, highs, mids. So Jordan 1 highs were the original, right? So I was like, oh, that's super cool. Jordan lows were different shoes. It looks different, right? It's completely a different cut. That high missing makes this a completely different sneaker. Simply because on human beings, a high top sneaker makes you look shorter, so it really alters your physical perception, and a low top makes you look taller, and that's just, so they're looked at as different shoes, so there's no disparity there. You're wearing lows, it's cool. Mids is a very, it's a joke with like snob culture, and it plays very naturally into this like surface level industry of things, where it's like, because it looks like a high, but it isn't. It was a very natural and easy joke to make. That, oh, you're not getting the good one.
Yeah,
It's like getting an Android phone that looks like an iPhone. It's like wearing, things like that. And it was just an easy joke to make that caught on. But people don't actually have that prejudice.
When you see your sales,
Mids are some of our best-selling sneakers. Because we're still selling to a couple things, right? A, supply is stronger with mids because of easy access. B, the price point makes it easy access to a nascent stage audience, right? For them, it's like, oh, I can get a shoe that looks like, because they don't think so much. Look, the end consumer doesn't give a flying fuck. Okay, the fact of life, especially in industry, like everybody's like, oh shit, Kanye, Adidas done. What's gonna happen to this? Nothing. Virgil die was nothing. End consumer doesn't even know who Virgil or Kanye are. So for them, it's like, oh, I heard sneakers are cool. I saw Ranbir Kapoor wearing these. These look like that. How much are they? And they don't know Fragment Jordan 1, Royal Toe Jordan 1, some blue Jordan made. They're like, oh, Ranbir is wearing these. I wear these. Now my friends will see me wearing these and I will look like that. And at the end of the day, everybody lives in their own head. They don't really know how other people look at them. They hope for other people to look at them the way they are looking at themselves. Which is absolutely bullshit. But it's fine, whatever makes you happy. I think the end goal is be happy. You don't have to be objectively right. It's perfectly okay to be wrong as long as you're happy. And, that allows us to sell more mids. And we make more money on mids. And, I've actually played with the market price of mids early on and made some mids cool.
like which ones?
Smoke grey mids when they came out. Market price is like 12 grand. I was like, damn, these look cool. I was like, we'll sell them for 25. And the kids who were selling them to us for 12 started selling them to us for 18. And I was like, great, everybody made money. End consumers are happy. They felt better about themselves. Sellers were happy. We were happy. It was all good. I like playing with markets like that. It's fun,
Which ones would be on your list to, again, for someone who's new into sneakers, if you were to pick up a pair of Jordan 1s, what would be your, like, stuff you can get easily, stuff that you'll only get on resale? Like, give me a range.
Yeah, so I'd say, so people just getting into it, you gotta recognize that it's expensive, right? So you're not gonna get into it, not gonna buy 10. So whatever you buy, you're gonna wear a lot. So I'd say push the boundary of your budget a bit to getting something that's cool, like acceptably cool. Things that are cool are agnostic of their price. They are worn by people who can afford anything. In the sense that people will choose this not because it's the only thing they can afford, but people who can afford anything will still choose this, and that becomes like socially cool. Okay. Oh my God, I sound so shallow. But it's a fact of how these things work. So I would recommend, going with the Jordan 1 High. You can wear it every day. It's always going to be cool. And you can start with, I think, the 1820 range for whatever there's. I think the taxis is a little higher now. The bleached coral highs, seafoam, that range. It's 18 to 35. May you get a Jordan 1 High that you can just wear every day. Whenever you want to wear sneakers, you wear those. And when people see those on you again and again, it's like good, I see it around. Or maybe that's just how I look at it. But it's also the way I've seen the data play out. So, I've got a little bit of validation for my theories from our data, from other reseller data. Like it's indices. I would always recommend that from a satisfaction standpoint, from a getting hooked standpoint, increases customer lifetime value, because I know for a fact that shoe will elevate their status objectively in society and they will always want more. It's a slippery slope. So yeah, I would always recommend it's a win-win situation,
The last cool one that I got were the patent reds.
Oh, that was a cool shoe.
Those were nice.
Yeah. And those are still popping.
Oh yeah? What price did resell now?
Started at the early 20s, went up to 40.
Oh, nice.
The standard movement.
I wore it the moment I got them.
Hell yeah, man.
Yeah.
You gotta.
Super Kicks raffle. I had to write a poem to get it.
Beautiful. But see, the beauty of this space is that, right, you can still sell them for more than you bought them.
I want to talk about that later because you've been you come from the same school of thought that I do, that pre-loved is perfectly fine, and I'll touch upon that a little later.
Yeah.
So you're suggesting something from the 18 to
35,000 rupee range. Until then, I'd say even avoid. Wear basic shoes. Wear Vans. Vans again, right? That's a pair of shoes that, regardless of affordability, there will be people who wear it. Converse. Where I think understanding, because these things are so much about identity, right? Understanding how other people look at them is important, because you're trying to partake in community thought. So being on the same page as a community is important. I think that's what my real skill set is. That's how we've managed to build the sort of brand value that we have, is in understanding that. So it's something that I'm very happy to always share.
Would a low be your first Air Jordan? Or should be someone's Air Jordan? Because I think a lot of people that, especially, like let's say my sister, for example, I know she might pick up a low instead of a high.
See, it's from a recommendation standpoint, right? This is if you're trying to convince someone to get into it, if they buy low, chances are they won't get into it. So I wouldn't recommend it. If it's for like a kid who's already obsessed, he's your child, and it's like, okay, this is the only one you can get now. Like, okay, work your way up. That's kind of cool. So if that's all you can afford, you can't beat 8-9 grand. I would still recommend buying a low for retail, flipping it for a profit, buying something else, flipping it for a profit, and getting to a high. Because that's what you really want. I'm all about trying to stay honest with yourself, It's like don't be telling yourself that makes you happy. It doesn't.
Giving advice to flipping people, to flipping shoes to people.
100%, whatever gets we supply.
Yeah. Tell me some of the most expensive Jordans you've sold.
Dior's, Louis Vuitton's.
Yeah.
Louis Vuitton Air Forces, Jordan, Dior's, I think 12-13 lakhs, things like that.
12-13 lakhs?
Yeah.
Damn, son.
It's a good life.
Yeah. How much did you buy them for?
I think those ones we sold for 12, we bought at 10.
Okay.
20%
Yeah.
margin.
You guys also do a lot of sneaker closet tours, right?
Yeah, half the business is our media now. That's all of what it started with. Now it's half, and it's important to us.
What are the people with cool collections here?
I mean, define cool collection.
I was just gonna say, how do I define cool collection? That you said, okay, you know what, this person's put thought. It's not just buying. Okay, so this is the other thing with sneaker culture, right? It's not just about buying shoes because you can buy shoes. Why did you get a particular pair? Again, come back to the pre-loved thing. Maybe you have some pre-loved shoes in your collection. That's perfectly fine. So I think for me, defining cool is someone who's put a little more thought than just saying, I need to build a collection. Let me pick up 20 pairs in a year and just keep building.
I mean, even if you did buy 20 pairs in a year, what pairs you got, why you got. I think the why defines cool, right? Because you could also have everything and still, it could still be a cool collection if you don't have that narrative. I think the biggest closet tour on our channel is Harshvardhan Kapoor. It's got north of 1 million views, which is big for us, right? We're a small channel. Apologies. But Harsh's collection, like I've seen over like 4 years, every shoe that he's gone hunting for and how much he's hunted and what price he's paid and how he's negotiated and what trades he's done and sacrifices. It's I don't know how he does it. Ridiculous hustle. And sometimes I'm just like, you have the money. Like, why would you trade this much mental peace or whatever, you know? So I would still say it's a cool collection.
Is that part of the joy and the fun?
For some people, the way I look at it, my mental peace is important. I have none for a reason. I don't want any tension in life. I like the way I don't have to worry about these things. But that's what makes us a cool collection. Even though man has everything under the sun. And there are some smaller collections, but some like very well curated. I think they're all cool. Like, we have some customers who are extremely private. Like, they won't do a closet tour. We've been after them for a while. Please, just please. People who buy every shoe that comes out. Same, they talk about shoes all day, every day. Deeply passionate, incredible people, some of our closest friends. And we're like, please. This is nah. And we're like, okay. Surprisingly, some of these are from Delhi. You'd expect Delhi people
to be showing off. What a Delhi cliche.
But you'd be surprised, Delhi. And I have an interesting theory built out on this. That again, I've validated a bit since we launched the Delhi store. Is that sneakers bring you status, right? And globally, people spend money to acquire status. Very often. Most things in life. Like, you don't really need... Like, it's rarely function and form. Most margin is made in brand and most purchases are made from brand decisions, right? Like, you'll buy Ray-Ban glasses for that Ray-Ban logo. You could get the same chashma, same quality for your buying status. And in Bombay, it's very easy to be wearing chappal and going to Soho House and bumping into this Bollywood actor, this one or this director, and then becoming friends with them. And so in Bombay, and that's just Bombay, everybody's coming here to make it, have that enamel, everyone knows what's up. So Bombay is very easy to acquire status for cheap. In a city like Delhi, where front-end influence is low, digital distribution is low. Media distribution has always been low. Now in fact, digital distribution is probably more than it was. Cost of acquisition of status is much higher. So people with same volume of wealth in life will be habitually built to spend more of it to acquire status in a city like Delhi. And I've seen this. Which is, I don't know whether to say it's shallow or what, but it's just how it works, unfortunately. I've also seen people there who wouldn't want to, but they're like, I just have to. Like, it's just the way to be, which is fair, right? At the end of the day, we're a social being. You have to protect your standing in society for, You know, you need a friend circle. You want all of that. Sometimes you do things you don't like. It's okay. But yeah, that's Delhi.
I actually think Delhi has a cooler art culture. I think Delhi has better subcultures than Bombay.
Agreed.
Uh,
Agreed.
Of course, better spaces. In fact, that whole Dhanmil's compound, right? That's such a hipster place.
Yeah, it's dope.
You guys are next to jaywalking, couple of other stores there, good coffee shops. It's a fun space.
Yeah, there's so much popping up now. There's another like vintage denim upcycling store just opened up. A friend of mine. It's called Archive. There is another brand. A friend of mine's brand is coming there. They have like this little bread, like a sourdough bread baking spot. It's just things just popping up left, right, center. I kind of want to take credit because when we were pitching to the landlord, you know, Jay and I went to Delhi and we were like, we sat him down. We were like, look, we're gonna make this place cool. Like, give us a good deal. I was like, you don't know what's gonna happen here. Like, you'll see on our launch what we're gonna do. And we did. You know, we had like 400 people camped out outside our launch day overnight. And sure enough, over the next 1 year, the place has changed.
Well, what were you guys doing at the launch that 400 people were camping out?
I decided to spend like our launch budget on giving away 50 things for like stupid prices. My perspective was that people don't value their time. And it's cheap to buy. And I just bought a lot of people's time. And that gave me much more of like digital impact in terms of marketing versus like an ad spend or a PR spend.
What all did you give away, just out of curiosity?
Even Off-White Jordan for $5,000. So it's so again, like my brand instinct built this model into being 3 price categories. It was like, okay, there are shoes, hoodies, and t-shirts. All shoes are $5,000, all hoodies are 3, and all t-shirts are $999. That are otherwise 50, 60, 80 grand, 2 lakhs for shoes, 20, 30, 40 grand for hoodies, and 10, 15, 20 grand for t-shirts. So it was like, we give away shit for so cheap. Everybody's like, oh, I'll come line up. I don't mind spending the night here, but you should. You could make a lot more money if you spend that time trying to make money and buy the shoe. You know, but like people are emotional beings. And, you know, it seems easy. One kid came from out of town and spent 40 hours outside the store.
40 hours?
2 nights.
That is...
He was there 2 nights.
Did he get the shoe?
I believe so. I don't think he got the main one, but he got something. There was one kid who was 1 after the last person in line. And it was his birthday. And I felt bad, so we got him something anyway. But it was a hustle, man, to see people like that. And it was peaceful surprise. I was so scared. Because it's Delhi, it's Chhattarpur. You know, I was terrified. We got 6 bouncers. I got a megaphone. I'd go out, I'd yell the rules. I was like, if you are so much so as mean to anybody, I would kick you out. I was like, we don't owe anybody anything. We will kick you out of here. But luckily, you know, it was buttery smooth. I think our team absolutely killed it. You know, we had just got Adarsh on as head of ops. We just got Nitin on for marketing. Our OG team, you know, Himanshu, Vedant, the boys, they were all around, Sebastian. And, man, these guys, they lucky, you know, to have a team like that. Who cares? Like, they were there, man. They didn't sleep. And I was dead, okay? I had a deviated septum. I had some polyps growth in my sinus. And I have horrible allergies. And this was at its all-time worst. Okay, so 3 months before this, I was moving houses. And this was the house I had left in the pandemic and come back to. So moving out of this house, the dust was so bad. I never recovered only. 3 months, I was so bad. I was so gone. And in Delhi, that was when the pollution was at its worst. I used to wear 3 masks to just survive in that city at that time. And I was horribly done. You open my backpack, you'd see I was basically a pharmacy, like walking, talking pharmacy. And nothing would help also. So I didn't have an option but to go home and sleep for a few hours that night. But the boys, man, they were there. I was like, I can't do that. But really made it happen. And it was smooth, you know. Everybody was happy. Even the people who didn't get anything.
Yeah.
It was a dream come true.
Cool, man. Thank you for doing this. We spoke about a couple of sneakers to get Air Jordans because, again, it's season time to buy, gift, stuff like that. Any new stuff coming up over the next few months that you have your eyes on?
Oh, man. We should do tech. So bad with this. I have no idea. I think these Travis Scotts just released. They're cool. I think some new Travis Scotts are releasing later. it's an easy way to go. There's Travis Scott's coming always. I don't know, man. Otherwise, it's just not been a part of my job for the last I think year.
Who does that within the team?
So we have procurement guys. We have marketing dudes who know what's up. The dudes who run our social, they have to know what's up, right? So they have a calendar. They know when something's releasing. They know when to list it, etc., etc. So it's taken care of. Karan Khatri, who's basically my co-founder right now.
The OG India hype beast.
OG Indian hype beast, man. He allows me to not have to do this, right? He runs that shit. He knows what's coming out. He does an unboxing on his channel. We put it into our vlog. It's a machinery that's just beautiful from the content standpoint. From a supply chain standpoint, we're working on it. But yeah.
Last pair of Jordans I bought were the Gore-Tex ones, which were great for Mumbai winters.
Should get the new Travis Scotts.
Sir, I'm not spending that much on...
you're making the money.
No.
What up?
I've actually never bought anything in resale till now.
I think the fact that I am here today means you have to.
And I think the one
you should pull out your iPhone 14 Pro Max.
I think the one shoe that I would ever buy in resale would be the Chateau Mesa Jordans. Those were really nice.
The mids.
Yeah.
Those are beautiful. Cool, we'll make it happen.
Yeah.
Right now.
Right now,
we'll book your sale.
But those Gore-Tex ones were nice. You can wear them in waterproof Jordans.
Yeah.
So when I got them, and again, I think Superkicks had them, and this is a hack I've done quite a few times. Instead of camping out, call it done so, and give the guy a little more money, and he'll wait.
You don't have to camp out for Gore-Tex, no?
No, there was whatever. There was some. Not a big.
You made a Dunzo guy wait in line for you?
Yeah. I've done that several times. So he got the shoe to Soho, and
for how long though?
About 20 minutes or so.
Okay. Have you made them? What's the longest you made a Dunzo guy wait?
Half an hour.
That's alright.
Or let him get there early. If the store's opening at 9, just get there earlier. So
you make sure he gets it.
You make sure you get it.
No, you could. I'm wondering if you can make a guy camp overnight.
We can try it.
The thing is, most of them are raffle oriented now.
Yeah.
I don't see a lot of first come first serve.
So I got the shoe delivered to So, and Karan was there. And I walked him to him like a fanboy. I was like, see what I got. And then I think he was just being polite and showing enthusiasm, saying, yeah, dude, good job. But
because they're not hype shoes.
Yeah, they're not hype shoes at all.
Nobody's very nice like that.
Yeah, I was quite happy with that pair. Light Bordeaux is the
Bordeaux is also a nice shoe.
Yeah.
Oh, the light Bordeaux Gore-Tex. You also get the Bordeaux Jordan ones? They were cool.
No.
I'd expect you to, man, being a wine enthusiast.
Yeah. One of my friends, Joy, has that pair.
It's a very nice shoe.
After I got the breads, I was like, okay, you know what? Right now, let's just take it a little easy. The last cool pair was the OG one that they released, right?
Chicago.
The Chicago.
You gotta get those at least.
Those are nice to
cool.
get. Yeah, those are cool.
Really cool shoes.
Those go back to the OG
1985
colorway, yeah.
86, I think.
Yeah, but those were nice. I didn't get those.
Those are the details on them, the scuffed box, the OG bill.
How much are those in resale?
45, 50? Something like that. We sold so many of those. Like 100 pairs.
Yeah, that was a good one.
It was a really nice shoe. You should definitely get a pair of those.
Great. Now I'm spending all my money at Mainstreet now.
Hell yeah. Cool. No, but that's a classic pair, right? You get one of those and that's it.
Yeah, so
nothing else.
Again, that shoebox detailing, right? And we can show this on the YouTube channel. Really, really, really cool stuff.
Yeah, that's a bestseller right there. Yeah, so those are things that the team needs to keep track of.
Yeah.
So then, when that came out, and we played our cards right, it was boom, so excellent.
Cool, man. Thank you so much for doing this.
Thank you, man, for having me.
Let me know your IG and the YouTube channel.
Yeah, we're Mainstreet TV on YouTube. We're Mainstreet TV on Instagram. Marketplace by Mainstreet on Instagram. I'm at Vedulamba.
Super. Thank you.
Thank you, Aneesh.